Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan. Supernatural has been off air for a year and a half now, and fans still are begging for more content. Many still love the ending, but you always want more of a good show. You always want more of good characters and good relationships between characters. And we may have finally found an opportunity for that in the invention of this supernatural prequel that's coming to the CW. And despite that love, that excitement for a project like this, there's been some drama surrounding it. Sometime around June of last year, it was released by Deadline that Jenson Ackles was working with his production company and his wife with the CW to create a supernatural prequel following the love story of his character's parents, John and Mary Winchester, and the inception of that relationship, probably the birth of Sam, and a lot of those formative years that led to the creation of the boys destined to save the world. And I think that's a very interesting story to take. And as the world of Supernatural, I think that's the direction that makes the most sense. I don't want to see anything past where the series ended. I quite enjoyed the season 15 finale. I didn't like its penultimate episode with the whole conflict with God. I felt a little underwhelmed by that. But the actual series finale, I was in tears. I love that finale, so I don't want to see that finale undone in any way, or the emotional impact of that finale undone in any way. But when Deadline reported it, Jared Padalecki, who played Sam in Supernatural, took to Twitter and tweeted at his friend, his once brother, Jenson Ackles, saying, "Dude, happy for you. Wish I'd heard about this some other way than Twitter. I'm excited to watch, but bummed that Sam Winchester had no involvement whatsoever." And that is a bit of a salty tweet, especially considering the relationship that these two brothers have shared. And they seem like brothers in real life. Like, they are very close when it comes to their actual personal relationship. It's just really sad to see that something like that could be undermined by something so simple. And in the days that followed that, we heard that the hatchet was buried, like they were good. Jensen was able to explain himself, and it was satisfactory. But it wasn't until this week that we actually found out what the conflict was derived from and how that solution was reached. And that actually comes from Ackles' appearance on the Inside of You podcast, which is up on YouTube. Yeah, you should definitely check it out, the full interview. I only watched a few clips from it, but Jenson Ackles is actually a rising star. Now that he's free from his Supernatural contract, he's getting on. He's in the Rust movie with Alec Baldwin, even though that's never gonna happen now. He's gonna be Soldier Boy in The Boys season 3. Like, he's got a lot of potential ahead of him in the coming years now that he's free from Supernatural. Beyond just this project, going back to executive produce and narrate the prequel. But in his interview on the Inside of You podcast, he explained that there's a classic Hollywood superstition that you never talk about a project until it's complete. And as someone who, not Hollywood obviously, but have had similar creative endeavors that have fallen by the wayside and been canceled at the last minute or something fell through, you don't want to really tell anyone until it's done for fear of jinxing it, because those conversations can just get really, really awkward when it comes to explaining to your loved ones, like, hey, I know I was really excited about this, but it's not going to happen. It's just awkward. So the superstition, you don't talk about anything until the ink is dry. And that's something that I can hugely relate to. And that seems to be the situation here, where there weren't any scripts done for the prequel. It wasn't even really officially confirmed yet. Like, the agreement wasn't fully signed. It wasn't done yet. And so he wasn't telling his mom. He didn't tell Jared anything yet. It was not at the point yet when he could do anything that. But Deadline forced his hand, and when he called Jared, he's like, hey, this is way earlier on than Deadline made it out to be. There's nothing secure yet. I wanted to wait to tell you till it was done just to not jinx it. Sorry, brother. Wish I had done things differently. And apparently they both apologized for their actions, and it just kind of resolved itself quite simply. And that's kind of what you want to see from people like this. Like, they definitely do seem to be very close in real life, very brotherly, and that's why their chemistry on the show was so good, because it was a relationship they carried into their real lives. And anyone who's that close will have interpersonal struggles, minor stuff like this, but their unfortunate situation is that it's broadcast to the world so publicly. And I think that was the best way to handle things. It's really no fault of anyone maybe some overreacting when the Deadline article first came out, but overall, not as big of a deal as people made it out to be. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.